Pistons fans, I know you've been through a lot, but cheer up because this team just got a lot better this offseason, and it is now September and I have still yet to see people talk about it, but adding Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, and Ron Holland to this team is going to make them so much better to go. I mean, they have their current guard core, they have a couple of young posts. The thing that they were missing really was wings, and then you also throw in Simeon Fontecchio that they added at the deadline last year, and this is a really underrated. I mean, no, they're not going to make the playoffs next year, but they will improve. They won't be the laughingstock of the league once again. You have Ron Holland, who last year averaged 20.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 2.5 steals in 33 minutes per game as a professional at the age of like 17. Shot 44% from the field, 24% from 3 on 3.6 attempts per game. And then you have Asuar Thompson, his new running mate on the wing, who averaged 8.8 points a game last year, 6.4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, while shooting 48% from the field and 19% from 3. Now, the two common denominators with both of these guys, they're both absolutely freak athletes, Holland and Asuar, and neither one of them can shoot for nothing. But Asuar, I mean, just turn on some highlight tapes. Do your homework on Asuar Thompson. This man has bounce. He can jump out of the gym. Cade to Asuar lobs are going to be looking special next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh! But yeah, then you add in Ron Holland as his dynamic duo, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch next year in Detroit. Get upstairs. You got two high-flying wings, and Asuar, frankly, is just an insane athlete. Dunking on Miles Turner there, that's not easy to do. One of the best rim protectors in the NBA. And then if he can develop this part of his game, which is knocking down three balls, because the other team just frankly doesn't respect him at all, and that's what he's got to work on because he is already so good defensively. He's got absolute clamps, as you can see there, coming from the Hornets logo to get that out of there. If I was PJ Washington, I honestly would have got scared because something was flying through the air to block my shot. This freakishly athletic, and he's very good at defense. Watch him play trail coverage here against Zach LaVine. Vooch is going to roll to the rim, Jalen Duren's going to drop, and he's just going to do a great job of coming over the top and getting that block. Same thing here against Josh Giddey, recovers very well. And then just watch these 4 plays where he's going head to head with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best scorers in the NBA. That is fantastic defense, forces him into the tough fall away jumper. Here he gets beat, but then he recovers and gets the block going back the other way. Once again, gets beat, recovers, and has a great contest to force the miss against Shai there. Now he's playing one-on-one straight up in the half court. Give me that. We're going the other way. And then you look at Ron Holland, who also is a project shooter, but another common denominator, both very tall, both very long. Holland at 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan, nearly 7 feet, and a lightning quick first step. Look at him getting downhill. Look at him get to the rim. Off the catch now, he's going to go down. They know where he's going, and he still gets there. Knocks down the off-balance runner. Little misdirection here, little change of pace, and he still gets to the rim and scores. And then once again, yet another crazy athlete between Ron Holland and Asuar Thompson. There's going to be some highlights coming out of Detroit, which is something we haven't said in quite some time. Now, Cade gets to be a facilitator this year. That's what the starting lineup is probably going to look like, with just shooters everywhere. Fontecchio, Tim Hardaway Jr., I guess we can call him a shooter, although he was kind of a negative asset last year for the Mavs. But Cade is really good. Coming off of a year where he averaged 22.7 points, 7.5 assists, 4.3 rebounds, and 1 steal, and people just don't talk about him enough, honestly. He is a great point guard, one of the better young point guards in the NBA. Shot 45% from the field, 36% from 3 on 5 attempts, so not great. I mean, those are pretty much average stats right there. If he can bring those up to the good category, maybe even the great category, he can be looking really good. He was 22 last year, he's going to be 23 next year, in my opinion, a big-time season. Now, if you are at this point in the video, it means you obviously like something. Make sure to hit that like button and leave me a comment down below, as well as hitting that subscribe button. It'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. We're trying to hit 20K here sooner rather than later, as well as trying to hit 200 likes on today's video. So if you could help us out with that, it'd be greatly appreciated. Now let's look at the help that is in Detroit now, and it starts with Malik Beasley, who they bring in on a 1-year, very cheap deal, coming off of a year where he averaged 11.3 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 1.4 assists in 30 minutes a night. A pretty good season for Malik Beasley last year in Milwaukee. Very underrated. He shot 41% from 3 on 7 attempts. Very good efficiency for that volume, knocking it down in the corner, and then here uses the ball fake to his advantage, gets downhill, a nice little floater, 1 year, $6 million deal. That is an absolute steal for a guy that is that valuable. I thought he was going to go to a contender. Instead, he goes to a rebuilding team in Detroit. So, makes sense. He's going to go, and it's basically a prove-it year for him. Then you got Tim Hardaway Jr., 14.4 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, 1.8 assists in 27 minutes a game last year in Dallas. They bring him in. They gave up Quentin Grimes. I don't know if I like that deal too much. They got some picks, but 40% from the field, 35% from 3 for Tim Hardaway Jr. They're basically going to be eating his contract for the next couple of years. And then they do a little bit of an overpay, but sometimes you got to overpay to bring in quality talent. This kind of reminds me of the Gordon Hayward deal in Charlotte a few years ago, except it's only for 2 years instead of 4, which is much better. Tobias last year averaged 17.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and he comes back to Detroit where he had been before. After a year where he really wasn't that good, 48% from the field, 35% from 3, below average from 3. That solid from the field, but that was in 34 minutes per game. He has been playing much better over a few years prior. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the video, 2 years, $52 million for Tobias. And like I said earlier, they bring in Simeon Fontecchio last year at the deadline, and he lit it up in his limited stint with the Pistons last year, where he had 15.4 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 1.8 assists in 16 games played. Really good numbers overall, and the best part is he shot 48% from the field and 43% from 3 on 6 attempts. Really, really good stuff there from Fontecchio. Getting downhill, great spacer, can really shoot it, and they extended him 2 years, $16 million. So I love these contracts for the Pistons. Very team-friendly deals, and now the question becomes, where do we fit Jaden Ivey into this lineup? As you can see here, he's probably not going to start this year with Malik Beasley in. They got Sasser, they got him, and they got Ron Holland off the bench. Probably don't see Tim Hardaway Jr. playing much, but maybe we see a situation where they play Malik Beasley a lot, get his trade value up, and then trade him at the deadline to a contender. Ivey, who averaged 15.4 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game last year in 29 minutes, is coming off of a year where he played pretty good basketball. The efficiency was not great, however. 43% from the field, 34% from 3 is not what you're looking for out of your young guard. But I think he could be a very, very good six-man, very good, maybe not efficiency, but a great microwave scorer off the bench, kind of like what we see with other guys around the league. And then you have your post, of course, Jalen Duren, coming off of a summer with Team USA Select, coming off a year where he averaged 14 points a game, 11.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists in 28 minutes a game, shot 62% from the field, and averaged 0.8 blocks a game as a 20-year-old, so still very, very young. They got him, and they got Beef Stew down low. I doubt we see them playing together, but we'll see. But I love what the Pistons did this offseason for Cade Cunningham, bringing in Tobias, Malik Beasley. I guess you can count Tim Hardaway Jr. in there, and they add the young wing in Ron Holland to go with their guards, Cade, Jaden Ivey, and Marcus Sasser, and their posts in Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and leave me a comment down below, as well as hitting that subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. And like I said, we're trying to hit 200 likes on today's video. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.